What's up, Dragon Brood? We're almost to the finish line. I don't know. I think this is going to be on Wednesday when you see this. So we've got, I think, 3 decks today and another couple tomorrow. So anyway, we're going to be putting out a whole lot of stuff. But today we're going to be playing a deck that has Kasima in it. I know this is one of the cards that everybody keeps saying, I want to find a use for. I want to do something cool with this. And I have a couple of things today and tomorrow that are going to come out using the card. And it's mostly stuff that just takes advantage of lots of lands coming into play. Just so maybe you have the possibility of maybe even getting a land into play. You put a counter on it, you put another land, you can get it back, get the card. You know, that sort of thing maybe can lend itself to be beneficial. But, you know, we're just going to talk about it, see what we think. But we have a landfall deck today that uses Kasima, and we're going to see if that's good enough to make it work. If you haven't, please remember to like this video, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. That helps me out and lets you know whenever stuff's going up on the channel. But for now, let's go take a look at this BANT landfall list. Alright, so if you've played Landfall, or Selesnya Landfall in particular, in the previous couple of standard environments, or the previous standard environment since we only had Landfall with Zendikar, you'll have an idea, like most of these cards you probably own. So this is more of just an upgrade to Selesnya Landfall, more than just being a true BANT Landfall deck, I would say. Here we've got 4 Lotus Cobras, and this is kind of like the default card if you're going to play Landfall. It's a way to get mana, ramp your stuff up, maybe play your 4 mana stuff on turn 3, which is nice. Give you some extra benefits with like Fable Passages, things like that, so lots going on there. We're going to go ahead and play 4 Marasa Root Raiser. And I played this a little bit before, and I really enjoyed it. Matter of fact, even if you go back and watch that video from, I don't know, like 2 months ago, I didn't even play that well, and the card still actually pulled its weight. So I'm kind of cool having this in the list and having a chance to play it again. And being able to replay lands could also be a matter of just like getting extra cards off of Kasima. So that actually seems like a really good spot for it. Then we're playing a couple of Glass Caskets. And I debated on if these 2 slots were going to be Glass Caskets or if they were going to be Banishing Lights. And my concern was that this list has so many things already at 3 mana and 4 mana that I was kind of wavering on what I wanted to do. So I decided, you know what? I'm just going to make these Glass Caskets first, and then we'll just see what happens. If the format goes a certain way where these aren't that good, feel free to swap these out for Banishing Lights. And then Kasima. I debated on how many of these I was going to play. Here's the thing. Like, I thought I had 3, and then eventually went up to 4. And one of the things I started thinking about is this is a deck where the backside actually works, right? The backside is the vehicle that when it attacks, you flip cards from your opponent's library and you can play lands that are exiled that way. Well, we want more lands to hit, so we can totally play lands, and that's great. We can actually use the equipment or the vehicle side and attack. So I'm on board with that. Like, this is one of those times I look at this, and this is kind of the best part about these gods being double-sided and castable, is that when you have decks that can use both sides, you actually get a lot of extra benefit, and it's almost like getting extra cards to choose from in your deck depending on what stage of the game you're at. So I kind of dig that. But Kasima, when you play lands, you basically get the choice of either exiling Kasima or exiling Kasima and then putting a counter on it, or you can return it to play and then it comes into play with that many counters and you get to draw a card, right? So basically every other turn, you can probably Kasima, get a land, Kasima, or get a card, and then Kasima, get a card, and kind of keep that whole thing going, which is sort of nice. Nothing real fancy there. Kazandu Mammoth, we know what it does. Mostly, it's likely going to be used as a land quite a lot in this list. No surprise, we're playing Scoot Swarms, because Scoot Swarms just make a bunch of tokens, and whenever you're out here playing land every turn, and that's the goal, great. 3 Skyclave Apparition, and this is mostly just a removal card. Nothing fancy, we're not blinking it a bunch. This is just buying time to do the things we want to do, pretty much. 2 Yasharns. Yasharns, 4/4 for 4, let you search for 2 lands. Then you get to play more lands, and we have a bunch of stuff with Landfall and Kasima. You want more lands, right? So, easy fit, nothing too surprising there, and it's a sizable body we can fight with. And then Felidhar's Retreat, which is probably the best card in this deck. One of the best reasons to play Landfall, really. Being able to pump your whole team is nice. Being able to get extra creatures is nice after the board swept. Like, it just does a lot in here. It can allow you with like a mid-size army of Scoot Swarms to turn those into 2/2s or 3/3s. Get after it with that. Just lots of cool stuff this list allows you to do, really. I'm really, really digging it. Then we have a couple of Gem Raisers. I'm not overly sold on the Gem Raisers, I'll say. So, like, this could be a flex slot, probably. But for me, I wanted to still have a couple of things to deal with problem cards. You know, let's say your opponents have Glass Caskets. Want to get rid of those. Maybe they have something like Doom Foretold. You know, want to be able to get rid of that. Just like odds and ends. And the only thing you can't play this on really is, well, no, actually you can play it on everything. I was going to say Casimo, but Casimo's a god. So yeah, all the creatures are eligible to be mutated up. So that's a huge benefit here. And then we're playing one Ashaya. And I almost played two, and I was debating on these last two slots. I have an Ashaya and I have a Vivian Monsters Advocate. And I almost went with two Ashayas strictly because with Casima, it increases the odds that you could play effectively 2 lands in a turn, right? Because if you don't play a land, maybe you play a creature. Then that would trigger all your landfall stuff, would also trigger Casima. Maybe you draw into something. So, like, there's a lot of stuff going on there. The Vivian is almost more of like a scared defensive tactic. It's just like, maybe I just need some flyers or things with reach so I can block flyers. Maybe you do get to play creatures off the top of your library, and with the amount of mana sources that are in here, it's possible you could play 2 or 3 things. You have a couple ways to shuffle your library, so you get your choice of the best thing on top. So there, Vivian's not bad, but Ashaya really pulls a lot of weight here too. So it's going to be interesting to see which of these I like more as we play it. Getting into the lands, we're playing 4 Branchloft Pathways. We're playing 3 Hingegate Pathways. 3 River. Actually, no. Why do I have River Glide in here? That's the wrong one. I have the wrong pathway in here. I need to have the blue-white, the blue-green, and the green-white. So I grabbed the wrong one when I was building this. So know that the downloadable list will have the correct one in here. Playing 4 Fable Passage, 2 Evolving Wilds. Then the rest are just plains and forest. 1 island in case I need to search for it. I will say the only reason I'm only playing 2 Evolving Wilds is because I don't want to have too many things coming to play tapped early, because you can't get those hands where like, oh, I have an Evolving Wilds and I have a passage, and then I can't really take advantage of them. And then your early creatures, you're not playing a turn 2 Cobra, you're not playing a turn 2 Root Razor, and not really giving yourself a chance to maximize your cards. So what I'm hoping is by only playing 6, it doesn't hurt us nearly as much. But hey, if you just feel more confident, you want to get more landfall triggers, more Casima triggers, go ahead and find a spot. Maybe cut a Branchloft Pathway and one something else to play the other 2 Evolving Wilds. Like, that's a real thing you can do. It's just me personally, if I'm playing the 2 mana things that can be relevant to the deck, I want to be able to play them reliably. Now, I will say, if you like landfall decks, like, this is an easy upgrade. You're basically just adding in Casima, and I guess the new pathway when I put the correct one in the list. But that's really about it. There's not much else you're going to be looking for here. So this is a very simple upgrade, but it actually has potential to do a lot, because one of the things these decks do have issues with is if the game goes long, like sometimes if you don't have the right card, like say you don't have a Felidar Retreat already out, well then like drawing land isn't so good later. And this gives you a way to kind of play around that, maybe protect a creature if you want to just exile Casima so you have something that comes back later. Some combos with Ashaya. Just like lots of cool things it's able to do all together. I appreciate these type of decks because it feels like you can get different combinations of 2 and 3 cards throughout the deck, and they all do fun and interesting things. And don't forget, if you're watching this Wednesday morning, you can come hang out on my stream over on Twitch, and we'll be playing Streamer Early Access all day, pretty much. I'm going to take a break off middle of the day to record my podcast, but otherwise, yeah, you're going to be able to catch me till at least 1 p.m. Pacific time. Then I'll probably take a break and get back on in the evening around 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock Pacific, and just play till later in the evening. So lots of stuff going on as far as that goes. Lots of decks. If you haven't checked, we have, I believe, over 20 decks. Final list is going to believe 23 or 25 in that playlist here on the channel. So feel free to click over to the playlist for MTG Kaldheim Standard. You can see all the decks we've been previewing the last few days, and the links for those are in the description of every video. So you can just go download that, hop right over into Arena, and be ready to rock and roll. If you haven't, remember to like this video, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, because that helps me and helps you. And that's all I've got for now. We'll see you next time.